Namaskar, welcome to Sansad TV. This is your host Manish Kumar. In a very special series on foreign affairs, we have a very special guest today. We focus on Italy, a group of G7 countries which leads globally on industrial innovation, excellence of advanced manufacturing, automobile, design and defense technology. And of course, Italy is India's fourth largest trade partner within the European Union with 14 billion euros of bilateral trade in 2023. Italy also believes in India's central, Indo-Pacific and Indo-Mediterranean ties to boost Italy to navigate the fiery geopolitics and laws of the sea to contribute to the tradition of democracy and trade together. In fact, Italian strike group aircraft carrier, the Cavour and the frigate Alpino was in Goa recently, and that showed the Indo-Italian strategic partnership. In fact, I was on board legendary Vespucci with ambassador and we witnessed docked in Mumbai. This was a historic moment. I welcome Enrico Bartoli, ambassador of Italy on the India-Italian strategic partnership and why Italy matters to India. To begin with, ambassador, we see a lot of upsurge and momentum in Indo-Italian relation. In fact, Prime Minister Modi and counterpart Giorgia Meloni held talks during the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro in November. This is the fifth meeting between the two prime ministers in 2 years. What are the important elements and what does it take to be a strategic partner? To start with Ambassador Bartoli.
But the fact that you underscore the frequency of these meetings is important because it testifies to the intensity of the relationship. Is also the quality and the content, because they signed a joint action plan for the next 5 years. You know, there is the hashtag melody that has gone viral, and this is not only a slogan, is an important way of highlighting the chemistry between the leaders, but it's not everything. I mean, apart from the chemistry, there is a convergence of, there is a common vision, the priority of national interest. There is a convergence of interests from, tackling together global challenges to, freedom of navigation, for example. We were talking about the Indo-Pacific. Of course, business, culture. We are heirs to millennia-old civilizations, and this means also a commonality of values. We are democracies, and we also share, differently what one could imagine looking at the map, also a common geography. Why? Because even if we are far, we actually are peninsulas projected in the respective seas, and these seas do form a common global area that is Indo-Pacific plus Mediterranean. So I would call it Indo-Mediterranean. That's why maintaining the stability and the connectivity in this big area is so important to both of us.
And Ambassador Bartoli, very nicely the way you term the Indo-Mediterranean and how these geography are connected through the sea. And that's a nice way to start and forge a deeper cooperation. But you talked about a joint action plan, Ambassador. Could you talk about in detail what are these meant for, the joint action plan? What are the objectives and how are we going to achieve this mechanism?
I would say it's there are two objectives. One is to talk a stock-taking exercise of what exists and what can build on. And second and main purpose is to spur joint initiatives. Of course, the first area is political dialogue. You talk about 5 meetings in 2 years.
Right.
But then we will have a series of other meetings. The Minister of Industry came, our minister, in November. There will be the 2 deputy ministers of both foreign affairs and defense, followed by the respective minister of Defense and our Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is also Deputy Prime Minister. And so there is an intensity of these visits, and this is a precondition for cooperation. And then, apart from political dialogue, you have economic cooperation, so trade and investment. This is very important in both directions. Then you have connectivity, which is also a precondition for trading and have cross investment. Science, technology, innovation, startups, space, defense, security. We just ended last week the second round of counterterrorism dialogue. We had started cyber security dialogue. Then you have migration and mobility, which means that we established conditions to have smoother movements, and, for example, bringing qualified personnel to Italy, going also beyond the threshold, the quota established in the migration decree, in our case. And then you have, of course, people to people as such, all the contexts spanning from university cooperation, culture, cinema, tourism, all that contributes to mutual knowledge and also, at the end, better relations and more fruitful business exchanges.
Ambassador, you also briefly mentioned about Italy welcomes the skilled Indian to come in and contribute to the Italian economy. Which way Italy is looking at attracting the highly skilled Indian to come in and invest?
But for example, I'll give you a quick example is the fact that we have some gaps. Is a win-win situation because we have some gaps in our labor market. You have a huge workforce. That's why these types of agreements are signed. And one concrete and quick example is nurses. We need, in general, 65,000, which is a big number for Italy. And from the professional point of view, is shouldn't be too difficult. Of course, we have to train in Italian language because these nurses will have to interact with doctors and patients above all. And we are setting a pilot project on that. But then the same principle can be applied to industries, from technicians, engineers, whatever.
So it touches the wider spectrum of areas of economy and a skilled Indian worker to go and contribute to your economy. And quickly also, Ambassador, on the fact that we talked about almost 14 billion euro of bilateral trade. Just the joint action plan talk about reaching certain target or doubling the bilateral trade.
Yeah, we already doubled in the last 5 years. Of course, you have to factor in COVID, so the rebound was relevant. But in any case, there is a very positive trend. We have to make it grow more. So it's 14.3, something like that. Of course, we have to make it also more balanced because 5 billion is Italy towards India and 9 billion vice versa. Of course, a hurdle, to be honest, is the high level of tariffs or barriers, tariff and non-tariff barriers, and we have to work on that. Also because this eliminates or cuts off important sectors, such as, for example, agri-food. There is a nice strategy that we are pushing forward. It's called push strategy. It means that our agencies guarantee the loans that Indian buyers establish with their own banks. And so they lower the interest rate, and this makes the whole thing more competitive. And the buyers just commit, are not obliged to interact in a matchmaking activity with the would-be providers, Italian providers. And this is working. But apart from developing trade, and we are trying to do it notwithstanding the barriers, we have to shift towards more and more investments. We have 6.7 billion euro here.
From
we
Italy
have
to India.
800 companies present in India.
Over a decade, Ambassador, I think.
After, it's a stock number, of course, but is increasing. Half of these 800 have productive facilities. We have to do more here, and we have to have more investments, Indian investments in Italy, because there are plenty of opportunities.
Thank you, Ambassador. So well explained. Before I understand the deeper cooperation between India and Italy, I would like to understand a bit more about Italian foreign policies. As a key member of G7 country, you have had a balanced global outreach and foreign policy, but you also given Italy's dual focus on the Indo-Pacific and at the same time Mediterranean. How do you balance these priorities within your foreign policy, especially in the context of your modernization plan, your military outreach? How do you project such cooperation and such outreach globally in your foreign policy?
We all know that security is more and more integrated, so you cannot, distinguish from one. Of course, Mediterranean is our immediate and strategic neighborhood, but Indo-Pacific does matter to us because it's a crucial area for example, global trade, right. Energy, and so we are very much interested in the Indo-Pacific stability. We showed, you were mentioning the John Carrier in October in Goa. Then there was Vespucci in Mumbai. Vespucci is the training vessel of the Italian Navy. Before that, in the previous year, there was the offshore patrol vessel Morosini, still in Mumbai. There will be others, but what I mean is that not just to show off, is to because there were, for example, joint exercises. This is a very concrete thing, and we want to be more and more present. We do care about freedom of navigation. For example, Italy was at the forefront of Aspides mission to guarantee the freedom of navigation in the Suez Canal, which is the connection, the corridor connecting the Mediterranean and the Indo-Pacific. We are together in crucial areas of Middle East, West Asia, as you call it. In Lebanon, for example, we are both flank to flank, side by side in UNIFIL. So is common interests and common challenges, and the awareness that no area is not interesting for us, considering that if you take the whole Indo-Mediterranean basin as such, it accounts for 70% of global trade, 60% of FDI, of foreign direct investment. So it's a crucial area. And this is your project of IMEC that we subscribe to and adhere to with great enthusiasm.
Which we'll talk about, Ambassador. But let's come back to our close relationship, and to beginning with Prime Minister. Both Prime Ministers Modi and Meloni have elevated our partnership, particularly in defense. We have been talking a lot of talks of military-industrial cooperation between Italy and defense. And knowing that Italy has a long history of defense collaboration with India, I understand companies like Leonardo are keen to participate in India's Make in initiative. Could you elaborate on Italy's area of expertise and interest in defense cooperation? What could be done together apart from this particular area? How could we diversify in defense and aerospace in terms of building jointly military industrial equipment right here in India, or vice versa?
In general, talking in general, there is a natural complementarity in the industrial sense at large, because we are the second industrial powerhouse in Europe. You are a big economy, about to become the third largest in the world. You want to develop and create a manufacturing sector, so the complementarity is there. If you look specifically at defense, you are I think the first importer of defense in the world. You want to, rightly so, develop an indigenous capacity. We are good at technologies, also in the domain of defense. The ones you mentioned, Leonardo is among the giant group in defense. Fincantieri is another one.
Yes.
Leonardo spans from helicopters, aircraft, defense electronics, aerostructures, space, cyber, innovation. You know, they have 50.3 billion revenues, euro, sorry, 15.3 billion euro in 2023. They had an order book of almost 40 billion euro. They invest 2.2 billion euro in research and development. So it's a partner to deal with. If you look at Fincantieri, Fincantieri accounts for 40% of cruise vessels in the world, both building, construction and conversion, but it's also important, of course, for military and defense and offshore vessels. Is very good in sustainability, so green products and use of new propulsion technologies and new fuels. They have built so far 7,000 ships, so they have a certain experience, and they employ respectively 53,000 Leonardo, 21,000 Fincantieri. So they are among the giants in the defense global industry. But you have, for example, very good companies like Iveco from ground vehicles. You have Beretta for guns,
very famous
rifles,
Indian establishment in the
ammunition, and so on. You have cutting edge domains. You have electronica and the domain of electronic warfare. You have Avio in space. You have Telespazio, Earth observation, both civilian and military applications. So you have a lot of competencies, and our Deputy Minister of Defense will be in Aero India next month, also to showcase this with the participation of important Italian companies.
It's glad to know that Defense Minister would be here at the prestigious Aero India show. But rightly you pointed out the cooperation across the electronics and especially the new propulsion systems. I understand these are well reported that Italy and Italian company are keen to collaborate in this particular new cutting-edge technology. But specific to particular cooperation, I also understand Italy is a part of next generation fighter jet program. India has its own ambitious fighter jet program. You have partnered with UK and Japan. Is there a potential for India to join this initiative, and how keen are you to partner with India? If you can talk a little about this particular aspect, which has been reported.
I was
also
talking about the capacity and orientation towards innovation. We are designing the 6th generation fighter, and this is, as you said, a collaboration between Italy, UK, and Japan. Is a collaboration based on equal rights and equal partnerships. We are open to partnerships with foreign countries, and I think this is a testimony to the capacity of designing the future and designing the security of the future. I want to say in general, we talked about Indo-Mediterranean, why Italy is interested in regions that seem far apart, because security is not just a theoretical subject for experts. It's something that has an impact on the prices of the products you find on the shelves of your supermarket. The Red Sea crisis had an impact of policy insurance on cost of goods, and so it's a question of both security for everybody and economy.
Ambassador, we'll broaden the scope of our understanding beyond defense, and we talk about the important cooperation which is Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC. What is the progress, Ambassador, on this? If you quickly brief on this.
But of course, this is a vision, and it's important to pursue the vision from the very beginning. And we adhered among the first countries for the reason I was mentioning, that being two peninsulas, Italy and India are natural terminal of these. And I was last week in Chennai, and in the Madras Museum there was a wonderful collection of both Roman and Venetian coins. Okay. What does it mean? That the trade, that corridor existed long time ago, at the time of Roman emperors. And so we are just revamping something that has already existed, and if it existed so long ago, it means that it was a natural corridor of collaboration. So we think that some ports, especially some ports in Italy, you take for example Trieste, are the natural gateway for the maritime leg to get immediately, because there are infrastructure behind the ports, to the heart of Europe. We are also negotiating an MOU on ports collaboration with the shipping ministry to facilitate the movement of containers. So I think we are interested in entering the governance. We will nominate an envoy, but of course one precondition is the stabilization of Middle East. We are hopefully and finally assisting to some positive, and we pushed a lot also for this ceasefire, and we think that IMEC is the natural consequence of what the idea, the vision of the Abraham Accord. Right. So, and we think that also with Trump presidency, this will be further enhanced, and so we hope that this can be preceded by a pacification of the area, and at the same time can be a factor of peace and shared prosperity.
Right, Ambassador. And back to the very important question which we must focus on is our India-EU FTA talks, the free trade agreement. We also understand our Commerce Minister was in Brussels recently to spur the talk. How can Italy assist India, being a key partner, being a strategic partner, advancing such talks? And what are the challenges you see, Ambassador?
We are the fourth exporter in the world. 640 billion. So we are a maritime, and not only maritime power, so we are interested in trade. And so we are among those who push for this FTA, not at any cost, in the sense that some critical areas must be safeguarded, and an effort of flexibility must be shown by both parties. This new meeting of Minister Goyal with the new leadership and the new commissioner is very positive. We hope that also thanks to the new leadership of European Commission, because remember that is an exclusive competence of the European Commission. Of course, then member states do contribute to that.
You see some optimism this happening in this year in 2025?
Let's say that we have all the intentions, but all the attention to safeguard the critical sectors and to really balance these signs of flexibility, but we have the will, the political will to do that.
And Ambassador, last it's an important question. I'd call it last but not the least. As you said, Italy is India's 18th largest foreign investor so far. I would like to also understand what are the policy opportunities and challenges that you see for Italian company to invest in India. Could you also talk about the specific cooperation in railway, which I understand has gone deeper, and energy? These two areas you can touch. But first, on the opportunity and challenges for the Italian investor to come and invest in India.
If you look at the joint action plan, is a very concrete and living document in the sense that we have set some priorities, but we will, the main purpose is to realize concrete projects for each area. The areas of most promising collaboration are well spelled out in the joint action plan, and those areas will be the focus areas for the business forum, a large business forum that we plan to have here, co-presided by our Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Piyush Goyal, in April. And these are Industry 4.0, means machinery technologies applied both to industry and to agriculture, energy transition, green technologies, urban regeneration, industry of recycle. We are very good because we are a country poor in natural resources, and so very good in recycling. 3, infrastructure, engineering, transportation, and there is a railway system. For example, we are together with Japan, the country where you have 2 operators, not only one, of high-speed train. And we have a very good network of good companies, especially in sectors where you have safety, signaling, sustainability, which are very important to build a railway network, cutting-edge railway network. And then you have space and defense, and then you have innovation, startups. I believe a lot in this. Because we have, as the rector of Madras Institute of Technology told me, build more and more international startups. Startups don't have a flag, brains don't have flag, and so we have to operate so to put in contact our talented startups with your vibrant innovation ecosystem here in India.
Thank you, Ambassador. You spoke on range about the forging partnership. You mentioned the innovation of a startup and culture, and there's a broad scope of partnership beyond defense to automobile, to energy, to railway. I thank Ambassador of Italy to India, Enrico Bartoli. Thank you, sir, for Manish Kumar Jha from Sansad TV signing off. Namaskar.